I'm going to ask Donna now if she could now bring James in to have a chat. James will save us from this self-destruction of telling people to use all these weird behaviors that kind of a bit counterintuitive. Or are you just going to tell us to be all close, close, close? Because that's your book, sir. The
Not at all.
perfect close.
Not at all. Not at all. Anyway, yeah, I would just add to what Claire said. I think the key from a leading perspective is just get off your solution for a minute and just facilitate the customer making a purchase and getting their goal. That's it. That's really what you are, right? So if we could redefine selling, not so much as you're the agent that can sell them a thing, but you're the person that's enabling them to solve a problem that they have. And guys, sometimes that involves you, and sometimes it doesn't involve you. And hopefully it does involve you, but you'll find selling so much more enjoyable if you just walk into every situation, tabula rasa, blank slate. What can I do to help this customer? And I hope that whatever it is that you offer fits into that framework somehow. It probably will, especially if once they understand that you're just trying to help them, they will try to find a way to incorporate you into what they do. That's just doing what I'm telling you will differentiate you as a sales professional, because so many people don't do that. I manage sales teams. I'm a CRO for a holding company, and I had a guy call me one day. He goes, don't ever send that guy back here. That guy has commission breath. Okay. And that was the first time I'd ever heard that term. Right. And I'm like, commission breath just captures so perfectly what we're trying to not be as sales professionals, because all you're really doing is trying to understand their problem and facilitate a decision. And as easy as it is to say that in one sentence, it's much harder to do, like Claire mentioned, because you've got half a dozen to a dozen stakeholders that all have different ideas of what that is. But you can be the person that helps facilitate that. And that's leadership, guys. Helping a customer get to where they are, from where they are to where they want to be. That's leadership. Okay, so you're leading at that point. And there's a great book out there by Deb Calvert that covers this very well. But basically, the short version is get off yourself, try to help facilitate the change that they're going to make, and by doing that. And by the way, you shouldn't I'm sure you've all read the Challenger Sale. And you can get the Challenger Sale wrong, right? I've seen all these young bucks that BDRs think they're going to challenge a CEO on how he's running his business. That's not what they're trying to say in Challenger Sale. But what is absolutely correct about that is, guys, if the customer could get to where they're going without you, well, they wouldn't be talking to you. They wouldn't be talking to you. So what they have a genuine need and a desire to move from where they're at to where they're trying to get, and you're the facilitator to help them do that. So do not hesitate to be their coach and facilitate their making decisions, because that's what they want you for. And it's a really wonderful thing. You can tell you're doing a good job when they invite you into your board meeting and you're sitting around the table along with everybody else that is part of the company trying to make a decision. That means they trust you enough that they want your input on the best possible way to do this, and that you've done a good job. That's a validating experience when that happens, and I'm sure all of you have had it. But when that happens, what it means is they know that you're not there just pushing a single thing. Okay, that you're really just trying to do what's best for the customer, and that's really the whole hybrid selling book starts out with this concept of we do what's best for the customer. And let me add a little. I'll tell you a little story about this. That this is not the one, Fred, you probably want me to share, but this will blow your mind, okay? Because it blew my mind when it happened. So maybe a little bit like Claire, I come from the B2B complex sales world, mostly healthcare sales, mostly to hospitals and clinics and things like that. So they're complex IT sales. And we went to a clinic that was, trying to make a change. And after talking to this lady, it just was overkill. What we had for them was just overkill for what she needed, right? So I just said, hey, you know what I think would be best for you is, let me tell you a couple of systems that I think are a better match for what you are. And I gave her the name of my competitors and their salespeople, right? And she thanked me, and I thought I'd never see her again. Okay, fast forward. There's a whole story about this I'm going to skip, but basically we end up selling Banner Health Systems, which is the largest healthcare system in the West. Okay, it was about a $10 million deal. And so this is like not even when that happened. It was like a couple of years later. I'm talking to Glenn Edwards, their CIO, and I say, what made you call us to begin with? What made you call us to begin with? And you'll never believe what this guy says. He goes, so-and-so told me to call you. It was this lady from this clinic that we never even sold to that I had recommended that she buy these 2 other systems that wasn't us. Okay. Now, the takeaway I want to make from this is, did I walk into this other lady's clinic thinking, hey, I'm gonna do the right thing because I know she's going to refer me a $10 million deal 2 years later? That is not what I did. You do the right thing, guys, because it's the right thing to do. Okay. And you can call it karma, you can call it whatever you want, right? But if we do what's best for customers, you win and the customer wins. And you will be in 100% alignment with what you're doing in sales because you're facilitating it. Like, man, where we and a customer both gain, that is the sweet spot of selling, right? Because they win and we win. Everybody wins, right? It's a virtuous cycle where we both win. And so if you always do what's best for customer, guys, you will have so much more fun going into your sales experience because you'll just be doing what's best for the customer. You can get on, and the thing that makes this sometimes challenging, okay? If I had to boil it down to a word, I would say it's just quota. Okay. So sometimes we feel pressure like, oh, I got to get this deal. And so I could go on a long time about that, but let me just give you a couple of really practical things. Okay. First of all, the data's back and you leaning into it actually isn't helping you. It's hurting you. Okay. So do not do that. Just go in. If you're not right for the customer, it's going to come out, guys. So just facilitate that and be objective about it and figure out what the right thing, and maybe it involves you, maybe it doesn't. The second thing though, is don't get yourself in a financial situation where you have to have the next sale. Okay. Now we've gone way past selling when I say that. I'm telling you, manage your personal business in a way where you're not desperate, because desperation breeds massive dysfunctionality in selling. And customers can, and I could give you all the science behind it, right? It's in my book, chapter 3 of the book. You can read all about all these nonverbal signals that you send out when you have commission breath, right? When you go in there and you got to have it, the customers can smell it like a dog smells fear, and it turns them off. Yeah. And so Fred, I don't want to monopolize all the time here, but you asked a little bit on leading, which I absolutely love. And I also love just the concept in the book of we do what's best for the customer. And guys, if you go into your sales, each sales encounter just thinking, hey, what's the best thing I can do for this customer? Your enjoyment factor will go through the roof. And ironically, there's something sublime about it, but ironically, the data shows you'll sell more when you do that. And then you're loving life, right? It's a virtuous cycle where it just keeps feeding itself. And so you're enjoying more and you're making more.
Brilliant. You know what? I knew it would happen with all you guys. I would just want to talk to you for the rest of the day. Again, same as Claire, same as Tyler. And it's very hard when I'm asking you to talk about one particular area because you're covering the whole lot. Because of course, that's what selling is. That's the point of hybrid. But that piece you talk about, self-management, is so key. And again, that's why I included that in the latter part of the hybrid selling book. James, thank you again so much for popping on. Perfect close. Definitely recommend that. And I know that on your personal website, you're incredibly generous with stuff you share to help people do the best. So we'll drop a link into chat with that as well, because we're all about trying to get helping salespeople do the right thing. So thank you again so much for joining me, James, and we'll catch up soon for a bit of a longer chat, I hope.
All right, my pleasure.
Thank you.